Hey Virgo, this reading is for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising in Love. We're going to take a look at December 15th through the end of the month. Virgo in Love, December 15th through the end of the month. Virgo, I'm going to be choosing a winner for a giveaway this month. I've decided that I'm going to let my winner choose whether they want a free reading or a free healing session. So if you'd like to be considered for that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment below the video. And also let me know that you have subscribed, okay? And I will notify winners at the end of the month. Virgo in love. You know, Virgo, I'm channeling quite a bit. I'm going to get a couple more shuffles in here, but I'm not going to sugarcoat you. There's some serious tough stuff coming through for Virgos in love. Okay. All right. Virgo, it's time to rip off the Band-Aid. It's your first message. Some of you really are having a very difficult month and a difficult couple weeks ahead, okay? It does feel like there's some sort of a problem that's been lingering. Now, it's not major for all of you, but here's the thing. You may be tempted over the holiday season to slap a Band-Aid on a wound that really needs some fresh air and tending to. If you decide to go that route, don't be surprised. Come January 1st or January 2nd, you peel the Band-Aid back off and now you have a wound that's infected, okay? For some of you, if you ignore problems now, if you put a Band-Aid on something to bridge a gap over the holidays, you risk having to deal with a much bigger problem on the back side of this. But I will say for some of you, Virgo, there actually is something major at play, okay? It feels like there was a grace period for some of you and for some of Virgo's partners. Somebody was gifted some time to figure out where they stand in a relationship. Somebody was gifted time to help resolve a problem, but it's almost like you've come to the end of the road at this point, okay? So someone still has trust issues and it's interfering with the stability of a relationship. You or your partner may step out, okay? And I do feel like for many of you, Virgo, you're the one who's been exercising a lot of patience. If you feel like you've been the only party acknowledging that something's wrong, it feels like you've come to the end of the road with that. You are no longer willing to be the only party putting in work at this time. Now, again, this isn't so serious for all of you guys, but I am a little bit concerned about this whole this temptation of slapping a Band-Aid on an issue, because Virgo, it may not be repairable come January if you guys do that now, okay? For some of you, you need some space, and it's that space that's going to heal you. I do feel like many of you have already taken that space. You may be already experiencing that. If you have the courage to really do what you need to at this time to heal a relationship, both parties acknowledging that there's an issue, I see some serious reconciliations around the corner for you, okay? But I don't necessarily see a reconciliation that's of the highest good over the holidays. So that means some of you may have to fight that temptation to see somebody that you love on a holiday, celebrating the new year. And that may be a little bit difficult, but also understand that if you cave in and do that prematurely, you may wind up risking the relationship long term, or you may it's almost like someone may prematurely stop some serious, awesome healing right now. If you get back together too soon, and it's almost like you'd have to start all over. So why be going through what you're going through right now, okay? So a big message here, no Band-Aids, or rip the Band-Aid off if there already is one, and tend to that wound, okay? Someone needs to tend to a wound now to keep a relationship alive. It's serious, okay? I know this is a bit of a serious message, but let's just own it and honor this, okay? I know there's positivity and silver lining here too, so let's get a little bit more clarity on this. For Virgos in love, December 15th through the end of the month, yeah. I think many of you are retreating and you're alone. You may just be retreating with your thoughts if you're still living with somebody, but it does feel like there's a complete disconnect. For many of you, this is just a complete disconnect. You need to regroup. You need to refuel. I think some Virgos and Virgos partners are just so drained that even though love is so big and it is so intact, it's like you don't even know what the way forward is anymore. You don't even have any clarity because you're so drained. If you are feeling like that, take a step back from your partner. It's probably going to be what saves this relationship. Because Virgo, we're going to circle back to a big message at the beginning of the month. Someone's afraid of how much they love you. You may be afraid of how much you love somebody else. There is really big love here. And that's why I'm saying it's not really worth the risk to put a Band-Aid on an issue just to get through the holidays to eventually lose this person anyway, okay? There's something big. There's something worth working toward. And there's somebody worth waiting for, if they're retreating, you're worth waiting for. If you are retreating, but collect your thoughts and get your energy back, okay? I have a little monkey trying to like say hello to you. Sorry, my love. Everybody loves Virgo. All right, we may have another kitty interruption, but let's keep this going, Virgo. But if you are retreating at this time and you've had the courage to already step into that space of healing, I mean, you're going to get to the other side of this a whole lot faster, okay? Just don't let the holidays rush your healing. It's almost like you can't afford to do that if you really love this person. Center of the reading is flirt. I think some of you are getting close. If you've been separated now for quite some time, I mean, there really is reconciliation energy for sure here, as long as you're healing. And this cannot be just one partner healing. So this flirt card sitting at the center of the reading, I'm channeling two things. One, I think some of you are starting to come out of that retreat mode, out of that separation, and you're starting to rekindle. And because you've healed, because you've taken space, now things are going to start to get fun. It's almost a revival of love in a sense for you, Virgo. Although I don't think the love really went anywhere. I don't really think there was a hard stop in love necessarily, but the space is very healing for you guys at this time. But I'm going to caution this. I do see somebody trying to be flirtatious, somebody trying to be lighthearted, and that's just not what the situation calls for. If you're dealing with an air sign, don't be surprised if that comes up for you, Virgo. And I also feel like for some of you, this may be particularly hard in a partner because they may not realize that there's an issue, okay? See, this is what I'm talking about. There's really big love here, but we're going to come back to soulmate. Somebody in the mix, this could be you too, Virgo, but it feels like somebody doesn't understand the depth of a wound, the seriousness of an issue. And it's not until someone steps away and creates space until the other partner can really open their eyes so that you can really heal, okay? So we come back to this. You're retreating. You're getting back to that flirtatious, possibly a fun space in the weeks ahead. This isn't going to happen around the 15th, okay? I really see if there's a reconciliation at this time and it's not premature, if you just let things naturally unfold, it's looking more like January for you, Virgo. But the soulmate connection deepens. Do trust for those of you who have really met a high-level soulmate and this love is like truly, truly, truly deep and intact and unconditional. You're having conversations in dreams. There's some sort of intuitive, telepathic thing going on. It's almost like you guys are communicating, but you're doing it spiritually, and that's just better. That's just better, and it's what you need now. Do trust. Even if you are not the one who chose to separate, do trust that there's real healing. I do not see a partner moving on from you. If there's a separation at this time or someone's pulled back a little bit, I don't see that anybody has given up. Yeah, we have another soulmate card here. So we have retreat. Again, calling in your soulmate. For some of you, you need to do this to call that soulmate back in. I do think for those of you who are single, who are not interested in a reconciliation, although don't be surprised, Virgo, if an ex is interested in a reconciliation and presents that opportunity to you over the next couple of weeks, because it does come through really strong here. But for those of you single, it's not so much about retreating from a person so that you can heal and get back together. It's about retreating from love. It's about retreating from dating. It's about retreating and going within so that you can heal enough to start calling a soulmate back in so you can get to a fun, beautiful, stable place in love again. I do think some of you are going through the ringer a little bit in terms of a breakup. Something that maybe you know you don't want to resolve even though it's really painful. Over the next couple of weeks, I see those of you who are single having a much easier time really stepping back into the light, being able to enjoy the holidays, being a little bit, I want to say you're a little bit more ready in January versus Virgos in committed relationships. It just feels like if you're still working through something with somebody, you still have a bit of a journey to go, okay? But if you're single, I don't see this being so difficult for you, okay? I see a lot of reflection and there's certainly a lot of healing, but I see you out with friends more. I see you maybe not dating seriously, but at least being flirtatious, at least allowing other people to be flirtatious with you. That's interesting. So Spirit's showing me two possible soulmates in the mix. This probably pertains more, though, to those of you who are single, possibly calling in more than one soulmate at this time, especially if you've been single for a long time. It's like universe is just trying to catch you up, get these lessons in there. Don't be surprised if you have like a short fling with a soulmate because there was an important lesson to learn, and then a more major relationship shows up on the back end of that. But somebody recognizes that they need to heal. Somebody was in the dark, and somebody's finally getting some healing and some work done. Also, both of these soulmate cards, Spirit is showing me that there's two people mutually working on an issue now. I don't think that was the case. I think somebody was taking on the burden of healing or trying to communicate that there was an issue, but only one party was really extending the work. Center the reading, we flirt, clarified by trust. Trust in this process. Trust that there probably is going to be a reconciliation in your near future, but you're not there yet. Also trust in the healing. Someone in the mix right now doesn't believe that healing is possible. They're working at it. I don't see anybody giving up right now. I certainly don't see Virgo giving up. I'm not seeing your partner giving up. It's like somebody's really struggling with, are we too broken? Is this even fixable? Should we just, instead of having the separation, maybe the separation is just a Band-Aid and we need to like rip the Band-Aid off and be done? I have to tell you, Virgo, I'm not seeing that it's time to rip the Band-Aid off and be done. Just address things. Just honor this process. Be in it. Don't let anybody rush you. Don't rush a partner to get back together if you're separated. I will tell you this, for those of you who have children, and so it's going to make it very difficult over the holidays if you are unable to spend time with your significant other because of the kids. It's almost like Spirit's like, don't tell them to put the Band-Aid back on. Acknowledge that there is a wound. And smile through, really hold space for love for the kids. But, like, don't cover the wound up. Don't ignore the wound, okay? Because, especially if there are kids involved, and you guys both want to work on this relationship, you just don't want to risk it. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I think if there are kids involved, you may say, you know what, we just have to make the best of this. We're going to make the best of the holidays and do that, but just make sure that in the background, you are still communicating about what you're working on, what your partner is working on, okay? This just needs tending to. Soulmate clarified by commitment. I really think you guys are coming back together with the soulmate. I really think even if this feels like the end of the road for some of you guys, it really is not the end of the road. It only will be the end of the road if somebody won't deal with an issue. And I think that's why this feels so serious, because you may have been very conscious of something, Virgo. You may have tried to communicate a million times to a partner and they just didn't get it. Or people were committing to change and not putting the action behind their words, like somebody's saying all the right things, but then that person's not taking steps to heal, right? You're done with that. You're certainly at the end of the road if that's an experience that you've had. But I see two people going through a hard time coming back together. You just don't want to do it prematurely, okay? Now, if there's something little, like I just heard somebody's bickering a lot. There's stress around the holidays. That's not a reason to separate from a partner. I know you know this, but if you don't address the bickering and the anxiety and someone's just like burying emotions, someone may be very angry by the end of the month and lash out. So for those of you that have a little bit more stability right now and there aren't really major issues showing up, do recognize, so crowning all of this is pay attention to the red flags. Do recognize that there are some red flags, that I'm hearing irritable behavior. You don't have to tolerate that in a partner. Also make sure your partner isn't just tolerating that with you just to suffer through the holidays. If something isn't feeling good, you have to talk about it now, because for some of you, it's a minor issue. It's stress around holidays. It's stress around travel. It's stress around being able to afford what your kids want for the holidays too. It's those kinds of issues. It may not be a core issue with you and your partner, but it could develop into one if someone's just like burying emotions, taking on the brunt of somebody else's irritability or anger or anxiety, okay? So it's really, really, really important to be conscious of this. Pay attention to the red flags, of course, crowning this. The red flag is the Band-Aid. The red flag is the Band-Aid. How do you know somebody has slapped a Band-Aid on an issue? It's when it is so obvious to you, Virgo, and yet the other partner is not tending to it. It's that person who keeps promising they're going to fix something. They promise they're going to work on something, but then their actions show you something different. It's somebody who just seems to be oblivious And yet, to you, it's the most obvious thing in the world that something needs to heal. Those are the red flags coming up. I'm not seeing anybody being deceptive or deceitful at this time. If somebody seems like they're in the dark, it's because they genuinely don't see. Open their eyes over the next couple of weeks. The red flag, there's a huge red flag in terms of someone possibly prematurely coming back together. It may damage. It just may damage a relationship, or it's almost like you can't afford to a hard stop in this healing process. Okay, bottom of the deck, we have release the ex. That's for those of you single, for sure. You're releasing exes so that you can move on and you're getting some healing done. I will say, for those of you going through a hard time right now, I'm just not seeing breakup necessarily, but release the ex maybe temporarily. Release the partner that you love temporarily so that you can heal. Release that old energy. Release those old patterns. Release the issue. I think for the majority of you, it's not about necessarily releasing a person. It's about releasing the issue, and do what you need to do to get this resolved, because I'm telling you, there's so much love here. It's just too big. And I think that's why some of you are afraid of how much you love the other person, because now someone feels like they're going to lose the love of their life. And that is pretty damn scary, So handle what you need to on an individual level. Take some space if you need it. If a partner is doing that, appreciate that, okay, because they're doing it out of love. Get your healing done, Virgo. I do see partners coming back together. Just don't do it too soon. And again, no band-aids here. Tend to what needs to be tended to. Communicate until you can't communicate anymore, okay? And if you feel like you've communicated to the point you can't communicate anymore and your partner just doesn't get it, step away for a little bit, okay? Okay, you guys know. You know that you're meant to heal. You know that this is big love. You know that this is worth waiting for. It's worth fighting for. It's worth working on. Don't let the holidays trip you guys up, okay? Virgo, if you feel like you need more clarity than this, reach out to me. I'm available for private readings. I'm available for energy healing work, which you guys know I specialize in. I will be back at the beginning of the year, which is crazy. And we'll kick off 2020 together. At this point, I'm hoping that I'll be able to get back to some general readings for you guys too, not just love. But I hope you found this helpful, Virgo. Make sure you connect to me at UrbanSoulGuru on Instagram. I'm considering combining my personal private Instagram page and just sort of like merging that with my Urban Soul community on Instagram, but I haven't like fully committed to that yet. But I may like convert you guys over to my private page just because it'll be a little easier, but we'll see. Okay, I'm excited to kick off the new year with you guys soon. Just infuse a lot of love into this. Okay, see it for what it is. Keep thoughts and energy and love vibing high. Okay, that is what's going to heal this ultimately. Enjoy your holidays the best that you can. There's love here. Just keep working at it. This person, whatever it is that you're going through, they feel worth it. They know that you're worth it. Recognize what a blessing that is. If you can work through whatever this is, despite it being intense, there's just something bigger on the back end of this for you guys. There's bigger commitment. It's a deeper commitment, okay? And it's probably a commitment that's going to last. It's going to be a little easier to maintain because you guys know that you have the strength to get through some pretty serious things. All right, Virgo, I love you. I'm sending you so much love, light, gratitude. Happy holidays. I'll see you in the new year. I love you. Ciao.